Hey everybody, Jason Sherman here. In today's episode of Zero to CEO, I speak with marketing intelligence expert Joshua Lauer. Welcome to the show.
Hello, thanks for having me.
No problem. And today we're talking about how to fix your GA4 and scale with confidence. My team and I, we work on Google Analytics all the time. We also use a lot of other tools as well. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. Why is GA4 driving marketers nuts in general? Let's not talk about how to fix it. Let's talk about what are the issues.
Well, I think probably one of the biggest issues is that it's a complete paradigm shift from the analytics of old that we all know and love. And so the main reports that you're used to finding quite easily in UA or GA3, as they've been calling it, are harder to find and harder to slice and dice and segment the way that we're used to doing.
I mean, I always wonder, because I run platforms, right? I run apps. When it comes to user experience, we generally don't change the overall theme and navigation of anything, and it's more about enhancing the parts that are working really well. Why do you think these billion and trillion dollar companies completely change the user experience of platforms? Like, what's the goal and the motive behind it? I'm so confused.
For Google, I think Google Analytics was a product that was paid for by Google Ads, if you think about it, right? Subsidized.
Right.
I would have to think that some executive decided they weren't related and that it needed to be something that made money on its own. That would be my first kind of thought there. Because certainly it sells BigQuery now.
Yeah.
Well, it probably still sells Google Ads a little bit, because you need to have all the various, it'd be silly to be running Google Ads without Google Analytics installed. Outside of that, if you recall, I don't know, 2016, 2015, there are a variety of other analytics platforms that started to emerge. One that specifically I think is relevant or might have played a role here is Mixpanel.
Right.
So they came out when their wedge against GA was that page views are old fashioned and everything is an event in Mixpanel, and you can make these cool funnels where you kind of string your events together. And anyone that's been around GA4 has probably seen in the Explore section the funnel builder, which looks very inspired by Mixpanel.
Yeah. I guess I just realized that we're using so many different tools, whether it's Meta Ads or Google Analytics or a lot of other things, and the navigation is so hard to use, and it just drives me crazy. So when someone comes to you and says, "Hey, I need help," what's the first thing you notice that they need help fixing or the help with in general, so we can maybe help people out here?
Yeah, I think kind of the big one is, they've got GA probably installed. I'm using my fingers to do air quotes there. And they're not quite sure if the conversion event or the goal that they're trying to track is actually tracking accurately, likely because when they go into various reports, they're having a hard time seeing anything related to that, just due to how the reports work now.
Yeah, we use Google Tag Manager, and we create events for every button click, every single screen they go on, so we know where they're spending their time, where they're having issues. Is this really kind of the right workflow?
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of Google Tag Manager. I think as far as, to your point, you can track literally anything with it. And I think kind of that comes with sort of that old Spider-Man quote about great responsibility, because some people are tempted to be like, well, I can just have it track every single click. And then, well, what does that actually mean? Sometimes people click on things that aren't clickable, right? So you could get all sorts of junk there. So I think having a very well-tuned tag manager container that's really dialed in for what you're trying to track with that specific website is a vital part of a good GA4 setup.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point. You said you can click on anything, but then it's not meaningful, right? So a lot of people, they seem to obsess over vanity metrics. What about the focusing on profitable, the ones that are going to bring you revenue? So how do you figure that out?
Yeah, it reminds me of a story probably in 2016 on a project I was on where I was it was one of those this is when I was working in-house at a place, but they were like, it's the full budget, right? Just go all out and do everything. And so it was like literally they were like telling me everything I could think of to track. Like internally, my team was telling me that, but then they were like also make sure you get everything that the client wants. And so one of the things that sort of I can't say I was surprised, and I did implement this, but I don't think it was really necessary, was that, this was one of those kind of websites where there's a maximum width and then you have
Oh,
a big hero thing, right? And the hero is like got a button on it that you can click on. And the person in question here was like, we need to track how many people are clicking outside the margins because they will do it. And I was like, they will do it. Yeah, anyone will probably click anything, but kind of what use is that to you to know that they
yeah,
clicked out there? Are you gonna put like a sign up button out on the edge of the margin now? Like, and so I think, in that example, there was a full open budget available to cover any time spent on whatever, so we went for it. But like, I think what I would counter with, now is that like that's not a metric that moves your goals the direction you want them to go. So if you're looking at that, that's a distraction.
yeah,
Not only that, but depending on the volume of traffic that you're getting and the volume of events, if you're a large enough site, this could actually impact your event quota. And you
right.
certainly don't want to have any kind of stoppage of anything because you're hitting limits there for silly clicks that are, whether or not, I mean, I think we could say, yes, they clicked on it now, but outside of that, there's not much you're going to get out of looking
Right.
at
Like how's that helpful to your business? I mean, okay,
yeah.
so they clicked on it, big deal.
Hmm.
It doesn't really, it's like somebody touched the back door of your car, but really all you care about is your passenger and your driver door. Who cares about the back doors, right? It's just like that makes a ton of sense. You also mentioned reporting and generating reports. I mean, this is a big, thing that this is why we're getting data, right? Is to generate reports and understand like a big overview, a high level overview of like what's happening in the business. Is there a way to automate this and maybe save time and to make better decisions quicker? And if so, what's your recommendation?
Yeah, I would say for sure there's a way to save time. I 100% recommend Looker Studio. If you, it can plug directly into GA4, or you can have GA4 going to BigQuery and then pull in, queries from BigQuery. So depending on how advanced you are, Looker Studio is a great place to sort of consolidate all of that. And then, once you have your queries and your reports right, it has scheduling, right? So you could have it like, and you
Mm,
have preset date ranges, right? So you can have
yeah,
a date range in a dashboard that's automatically set to last month. And on the first of every month, it can email your report with all the data from it.
nice. And you do have to learn how to use these other platforms, which is,
Yeah.
another kind of piece to it where people kind of get scared because they are complicated. I mean, I've looked at a lot of these things in the past. I mean, I know I was looking at Tableau at one point and that kind of was like, you got to take classes for this. And I'm like, I don't have time for that. So I'm not going to do that. So I know a lot of people, they kind of cringe when they hear, oh no, I got to run another platform, but maybe that's why you're here, right? I guess, so,
Yeah.
um, and speaking of that, do you have any like examples of an entrepreneur or a startup or a company or a business that you helped along the way and like kind of like what you did for them so we can get an idea of the kinds of things people should be looking for when they're trying to do this?
Yeah. Let's see. Who am I allowed to talk about?
A lot of NDAs signed, I'm sure.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
how about this to keep it general, right? What are maybe the top three things that you usually do when you work with somebody new? Like, what are the first three things you look like? Okay, I'm a brand new customer. These are the three things I want to look at and really lock onto before I even touch anything else, so that we can have a smoother experience together. And in that way, our audience can kind of learn from that.
Yeah. I think the very out of the gates discussion is, what is the primary goal of your website? What is the thing you want it to achieve? And like, is that currently tracking? Are you confident that it's tracking accurately? And then after a little discussion about that, kind of getting access to Tag Manager, Google Analytics, and then looking at the data, trying to assess whether or not it looks like this is actually tracking accurately or if there's room for improvement, right? The very first thing I would do is say that something doesn't look right is to identify a better tracking solution there. And one example of that would be in the early days of Google Analytics, you could set a destination URL to be a goal. right? So like you fill out a form and then we have a thank you page, right? And so if the URL says thank you, that's, we could say contains thank you, whatever, and that's your sort of goal. And the reason something like that is not as good as like an event-based solution is that you might put some information on the thank you page, like a reminder or a link to the calendar or whatever it happens to be that somebody might want to like reference. And if they come
Hmm.
back and then reload that page, there's a chance, depending on how your website's coded, it may still be there or it may not be there. But either way, they just reloaded the thank you page and it looks like you just got another goal conversion
Right.
when you really did.
You know, one of the things I think about, because you're mentioning, there's some common mistakes that are made, but there's also a bigger mistake that we haven't really talked about. And it also kind of makes me wonder how people are running these businesses is they don't even have analytics, right? People just like they have these businesses, they have these companies, and they have no idea what's happening. So I guess the question I would have, or why do people delay in getting their analytics installed or even getting it right? Like, why do they wait so long? Do you have like any ideas why from working with people?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the day-to-day thing that people are focused on is typically more just like whether it's accounting related or like logistics related. It's usually that like they're focused on the day-to-day tasks for running the business, and they've been like, I should really take some time to dig into this because I could probably make a better decision here or there. But like, yet you're kind of in this like sort of grind, right? And you keep going through the process. And so it takes a little bit of like almost like stepping away and taking a deep breath to be like, whoa, I need to kind of, step away from the motion and kind of get a look at like kind of the whole picture here and see, where do I feel like I'm missing insights or where do I feel like my decisions are hurried because I don't have time to figure various things out.
Yeah, and I guess one of the things that that's even bigger than that is building a marketing data warehouse too. And well, what's your recommendation on how to do that properly?
Well, I'd say the first recommendation is you definitely should be interested in it if you weren't before because of what happened with GA, right? So like with UA, they said, "Hey, we're gonna migrate you to a new platform. We want you to put this new code on your website. If you don't, like your analytics will stop tracking on this date, and then a year after that, you won't be able to access the data anymore." So it's
Jeez.
this kind of very like, whoa, like I didn't own any of this data that I was collecting, and
Yeah,
so like it's important to own the data that kind of gives you intelligence about how your business works. And if you're running a business that's predominantly online, that's some really important data outside of the like transactional data of what's coming in and out of the bank.
100%. And before we close things out, I'm curious because there's some emotions tied to running a business, right? And I'm sure you've gotten over 100 clients, you've helped them generate a lot of revenue, and they're probably emotional and they're probably confused and maybe even overwhelmed by their data. So, what's your advice to a business owner who feels maybe overwhelmed by the data and they're not exactly sure how to navigate it? What do you tell them?
I think I want to use an analogy here. Like, say you suddenly found out you're having dinner guests and you haven't cleaned your kitchen, and you need to, there's dishes on the
Typical.
counter, and you're like, kind of like, well, yeah, I'd like to have you over but I need to clean this stuff up, and you feel a little
Yeah,
embarrassed, right? And so, really, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. We all live lives and we're all busy all the time, and there's things that get left in various states of like completed or not. And certainly your own preferences and focuses are the things that dictate what has been taken care of and what hasn't. And like the reason you're talking to someone like me is because you want help kind of cleaning up your kitchen, so to speak. And that's what I'm here to do. So like let's take care of the dishes.
so if people need to clean their dishes or their data, where would they go to talk to you?
I would say the best thing right now is to find me on LinkedIn, search for Joshua Lauer. That's Lauer is how you spell the last name. There's a photo of me that's probably about 15 years old. I look like I'm a happy guy at somebody's wedding.
Nice.
And just send me a message with the words deep dive audit, and I'll get back to you with a time to schedule an interview to chat about how I can help.
Awesome. Guys, check him out, Joshua Lauer on LinkedIn, and hope you guys get your data cleaned up with him. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.